it's a good story, and I think the best stories are the ones that stay true to reality.
Yeah.
The ones that are true to the human condition. Those are the best. Those are the best movies, and because they resonate with us, because of it stays true to the human condition.
You can relate to it.
Hello, and welcome to Caesar's Movie Thoughts.
I'm Marcus.
And I'm Aurelius, and today we are talking about Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
So, just want to go ahead and preface. There's going to be spoilers, full spoilers for the movie. If you have not seen the movie, either go watch it or just, I don't know.
Move on.
If you don't care about spoilers, I mean, I'm sorry for you, but like,
I would recommend going and watching it.
Yes,
but anyway,
yes. I personally prefer to watch a movie knowing almost nothing about it.
Yeah.
That is how I have the best experiences with movies. But anyways, so Good Will Hunting. This was my first time watching it. This was
my probably third
time watching it.
but
okay.
First time in like 2 to 3 years.
2 or 3 years, yeah.
So it's been a little bit.
So I guess general thoughts.
General thoughts? I really like it. It's nothing flashy. There's nothing crazy about it. It's not like this big plot twist, but it's just really good acting, really good writing. Couple scenes I think of in like my top favorite movie scenes of all time. For their own
See,
things.
when you say that, I'm thinking of the scene where I don't remember the characters' names.
Yeah, and actually, that is one thing about this movie is I got to the end and I was trying to tell my brother about it.
I'm gonna call them by the actors'
That's
names
what I have
because
to do.
that's the only thing I remember.
Too.
I should have written down the characters' names. But here we are. So when Robin Williams is telling Matt Damon, he's just like when he tells him it's not your fault. And he just says it again and again.
Yep.
And that's a really interesting scene because it kind of really shows because Matt Damon's character, or Will Hunting, I guess.
There you go.
That's an easy.
There's one name.
So Will is like he has these barriers up. You know, he's a.
Won't let anyone get close to him.
Yeah, he's been hurt by people and he refuses to really let anybody in. And so he has these barriers up, and he'll let people in superficially. Yeah. You know, he'll like, but when Sean, that's his name, that's the Robin Williams character.
Okay.
Sean, I think, I could be wrong, but I think that's it. But Sean's just like, he's like, it's not your fault, and he's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, brushes it off.
Yeah, he's like, of course. You know, he's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But then he keeps telling him because it's like he's like, it's not getting through to you. It's not. Like you deflect this because when you're deflecting, letting people in, it's not just deflecting the bad stuff. You're deflecting the good stuff too. Yeah. You deflect love, you deflect affection because you don't feel like you're good enough for it. Yeah. It's a thing where it's like, you know, like you want to reject someone before they reject you, but also because you've never gotten that actual love and affection, you don't think you're actually deserving of that. And so you will, like, when somebody says something positive to you, you have a hard time accepting that. Yeah. And so in that scene, he's not accepting it because, like, he doesn't really believe it. And so Sean just keeps saying it again and again and again until it breaks through to Will. That he's like, these things weren't your fault. Yep. Like, it's not. And I think...
that's a great scene.
I have heard an audio on that, I think, on TikTok once.
Probably.
I think that's the only time I've seen anything about that. Okay. But I think I might have actually seen the scene. Like it was like a clip on TikTok or something. Yeah. But that was a great scene just in the towards the end where it's like you have that final breakthrough.
Just ties together.
Yeah, and it's where he finally gets through to Will that this isn't to try to open him up.
I guess before we get too far, it's really interesting to me that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, like, I think it was their first anything, really.
I have no idea, but
it's first I've heard of them, and then they both like have a writing credit.
They both wrote it. It's not that they just have a credit. They both wrote it. They co-wrote it.
So
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. This is a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck movie. They wrote it together, and they're like Matt Damon is Will Hunting, and Ben Affleck is his best friend. Yep. And they wrote the movie,
which I find, and then they got Robin Williams to play in it.
Oh yeah. And talking of Robin Williams, I tell you, I think him and like two comedians that I can think of is Robin Williams and why am I blanking on his name? Jim Carrey, who are comedic actors, but they like have done some dramatic roles.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams is just he's amazing at it. Like,
have you seen Insomnia?
I have not.
It's a good movie, but
is that a Christopher Nolan movie? I was thinking that because I'm like, I think they've got that on my list of Christopher.
So Robin Williams is also in there as a definitely
in that movie. I did not know that.
Non-comedic role. Technically the villain.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Robin Williams. He has a very soft. It's like a very soft side.
Yeah.
That's the really interesting thing that about him in the movie. But yeah, it's always fun to see like comedic actors that you really like for their comedy, but then they're like playing the dramatic roles.
And they can act.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of instances where you've seen like comedic actors, or actually I think just there are some actors who get stereotyped into certain types of roles, and then they have to try to do more dramatic roles to try to break free from that. I think so. You've got like Jim Carrey, like he's a dramatic, or he started off as like the comedic, the funny face guy.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. I haven't seen that one, but you've got like Ace Ventura or
they're all kinds of
Liar, Bruce Almighty. Those movies where he does these, he's a physical actor. Over the top with the facial expressions. But then you've got movies like The Truman Show. Yep. There's another one I'm blanking out on.
Yeah, I am too.
Recently.
Eternal
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
There we
yes,
go. There we go.
We did that one pretty recently. I think before. Did we talk about that?
No,
we didn't.
Not. Nope,
we did not. That was right before we did start talking about these movies.
Yep.
Here on YouTube. The top of my head.
So it's this one in Insomnia for me.
Okay, for Insomnia.
Those are
the two. And then I'm also thinking of like, for instance, a more recent example, Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
He's seen as a pretty boy who would be in like rom-coms and such. And recently we've seen him in. I mean, granted, it was more of a comedic role in Barbie.
That's what.
But probably like, I mean, hey, he got nominated for an Oscar for that role.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
Good for him.
So he was definitely the standout in Barbie.
Yeah.
And I've been watching some more recently. I think he's in Drive. Haven't seen Drive yet.
Good movie.
Blade Runner 2049. We saw that one.
Excellent.
And coming this May, he is in Fall Guy.
Yep.
Or The Fall Guy, I think is his official title.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see that one because of Ryan Gosling.
Gotta go watch that too.
Robert Pattinson is another one.
Okay.
I think he was mostly well known for Twilight.
That's
as the sparkly vampire in Twilight.
No idea. Okay, cool.
They sparkled. I can tell you that they sparkled.
Okay, cool.
Sparkly vampire, and so he wasn't taken too seriously. But most recently, we've seen him in the Batman,
and he was excellent.
And he was a very good actor.
He's also in. I swear he's in Tenet.
He is in Tenet. Yeah, he's good. He does a good role in Tenet.
He's good there too.
And later again this year, Mickey 17 is another movie.
And who knows what that's going to be, but it could be good.
I do not know, but I know a lot of people are excited for it, so I'm very interested
good
to
director.
see it myself. So,
but all I'll say, it's fun to see these actors get a shot at something different.
Yeah, and it's always good to see that kind of thing. And it's disappointing when some actors try to do that, but then they fall flat on their face.
So then they just go back to.
I think the one specific example I'm thinking of is Daisy Ridley. She tried doing a couple of so after Star Wars, she tried doing a couple of more dramatic roles in smaller films, and they got no traction.
Yeah,
and so now she's crawling back to Disney. Disney's like, hey, we want you back for another trilogy of movies, and she was like, well, she doesn't have anything else. So, and it's unfortunate because I don't think she's a terrible actress.
No,
she's just not in good movies.
Yep.
I don't know.
It doesn't help you.
She doesn't have anything that's like a something that really lets her show off her acting chops.
Yeah.
I think another interesting example. I think Brie Larson was actually pretty good before she started doing Captain Marvel. I've seen her. I don't know if I've really seen her in much. I just remember there's a couple times she was in Community, and I liked her in that. But like she's Captain Marvel's not great, and that was a killer for her career.
Yeah, no, that's I don't. You're not coming back from that very easily. I think not that scary, but I thought she was in Kong Skull Island, maybe.
She might be. I think I saw it like I don't know 2017
technically
or something like that.
I think Loki's in there too.
Oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston's in it. Yeah, and maybe Sam Jackson. I do not know.
Yeah, he's also in there.
I've seen.
Yeah, it's like
some
3 Marvel
of it
people
once,
in the same movie.
I think I've seen some of it once, like 2017, 2018.
Anyway, though, but that's the only other thing I've seen her in.
Yeah. So, and then also some other like Stellan Skarsgård.
Yep.
He's also in this. I think you mentioned what was he in?
He's in Dune.
Dune. That's
he's
right.
He's in Dune.
I think. What did I see? He was in Thor: Love and Thunder.
He's in all the Thors.
Oh, that's right, because he's the scientist guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also in the Avengers as well.
Yeah.
He would be.
Because is he the guy that gets controlled briefly? Yes.
Yes, he is.
Loki takes over.
Yeah.
Got it.
So he's there in the beginning of Avengers.
He's really good in this movie too.
Yeah, I liked him. I swear, I thought he looked a lot like Christopher Nolan, but like, of course, this was like 27 years ago, and then
Christopher Nolan
looks like that now. So I was like, this is weird. Yeah, so that's a wild coincidence. At first I thought it was like, is that Christopher? And I'm like, no, that can't be because Christopher Nolan's not an actor, and also this was 97, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense that that would be him. No. So yeah. But yeah, like getting back to the plot of the movie, I think going toward the end, when he put that note in
Robin Williams
his mailbox,
we'll say,
and he's like, you remember what he said? He's like, man, you stole my line.
Yeah. Got to go see a girl or see about a girl.
See about a girl, yeah. It's like if the professor asks about my career, he's like, I got to go see about a girl.
Yeah. No, so much of the movie is just great dialogue and writing. So another scene I love is that story about how he's at that famous baseball game. And he misses the whole thing because he went to see about a girl.
Recounts the whole thing as if he was there.
And he's acting it out, and I think it was Fudge or I don't remember who it was, but he's going through it. It's this comedic, it's kind of funny, wholesome story.
It gets intense too because it starts really getting in there.
Oh yeah, and then he gets to the end, and he's like, yeah, I didn't even see the game. Because Will was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were at that game. He's like, no, I wasn't. He's like, but he's like, you had tickets. He's like, yeah, I had to go see about a girl. And Will can't wrap his mind around it. But then it gets like a teaching point. Like, that's why I'm not sitting here saying, I saw a girl 20 years ago I wish I would have talked to at a bar.
Yeah. I think there's a lot, especially like in that, especially between Will and Sean. There's a lot of really interesting lessons to learn in there. Because you have, like, first of all, that's a lesson about going and just taking the shots, taking the chances, and taking that dive, and not letting your fears get in the way of finding out what could happen. What could have been, and you don't want to sit there and be like, what could have been.
Yeah, he just goes for it.
You want to see for yourself, but then also you have the interactions where they are. When they're talking about, I mean, it also is about like opening up, right?
Yep.
Because Will is constantly closed off to everybody around him. When his girlfriend asks him to move
to California, that's when it all breaks loose with them.
And it's at that moment that you see that he never let her in.
Yeah.
He was lying about his brothers. He was lying about
where he lived,
going to his place, and
his job.
He even though she was trying to reach out to him, even though she was trying to be like, "Hey, I don't want to hurt you. I want to help you." He instead just blocked everything off, and it was just like, no, I'm not. He refused to respond to those advances, and he refused to open himself up. Yeah. Again, because of the fear of getting hurt. Which is interesting because like the guy is so smart.
Oh,
He's so smart.
It's this great combination of it's this to use a line, this kid that's wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
And then at the same time, though, he doesn't really want to use it because he doesn't want to let anyone in and get into all that. So he just wants to stay closed off. And they also use it because it's really good writing to like open Robin Williams back up because he's kind of been shut down after his wife's death. They have like one scene at his house where like the dishes aren't done. It looks like for weeks, and there's like empty bottles of liquor around. So it was like both of them getting past that section of life they're stuck in.
And Will like really uses that intelligence as like his defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You know? Whenever like he's like, oh, I don't need a therapist, which he did obviously. But like he's like he's too smart, right?
Yep.
And so what he'd do is he would deflect and tear down the therapists, and that's why, you know, like you'd go in there and he'd be like, oh, I'm just outsmart you, in the whole therapist thing. He's
That's
like,
another one of my favorite scenes is the painting scene.
Yeah.
When he's
like he thinks he's outsmarting Sean, and then and like because Sean's is a whole different type of guy, and so he does therapy a little bit differently.
Yep.
And so Sean realizes therapy isn't just like a, you know, like a systematic thing. It's actually reaching the person.
Yeah.
I think every other therapist, if that would have happened, they would have just been like, "No, I don't have time for this."
Yep.
But instead, Sean was just like, okay, I can. Yeah. he's
yeah.
learning about him. He's learning about like
that's
recognizing the defense mechanisms. I think is the first, probably really big thing to help him out.
And one of the only other scene I consider like one of my favorites is that park bench scene, when it's like I better not gonna say, but it is a long take of Robin Williams just really good dialogue but awesome delivery.
He's just laying it out, and I thought that was fun the way Robin Williams is just like, he's like, you can talk to me or not, but I'm all in. It's up to you.
I'm all
in.
And
so the next few sessions is just them sitting staring at each other because it's like I can't talk first.
Yeah.
It's there to break them.
And staring contest.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool to see how, you know, they had a relationship forming.
They set it up. At the end, he's going to go see about a girl. Robin Williams is going to go get out, go abroad, live his life. He's going to come to the class reunion to try to rehook up with, don't know the guy's name, Stellan Skarsgård, whoever he plays in the movie.
The professor character.
The professor. Because they had their whole past too. Like, the movie just does a great job. There's no action. There's not like a huge plot twist of like, oh my gosh, this person's whoever. It's just kind of regular life, this smart kid trying to get over his past and other people around him.
It's a good story, and I think the best stories are the ones that stay true to reality.
Yeah.
The ones that are true to the human condition. Those are the best. Those are the best movies, and because they resonate with us. Because of, like, again, it stays true to the human condition.
You can relate to it.
You can relate to it, and you have, I found it interesting thinking of the scene where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are sitting or having lunch together, you know, on the car at their job.
Yep.
And you know, Matt Damon's character, Will, he's being like he has like incredible intelligence.
Yeah.
To the point where these things that these professors are having immense difficulty with, he considers to be
easy,
way too easy.
Yep.
And it's like yeah, why wouldn't you want to do any of this stuff? And he's like, well, what if I don't want to do this? He's like, what if I don't want to do any of that? And Ben Affleck's just like, he's like, I'm going to say this in the most loving way I possibly can.
Yeah.
If you were working this kind of job in 20 years like I am, I will kill you.
And Matt Damon did not see that coming.
Yeah.
No,
and hey, that is the sign of a true friend.
Yep. Yeah, told the hard truth.
Well, it's also like, I mean, as guys, sometimes what we need is not just the loving and caring, like, oh my gosh, oh, you know, like being all softy and everything.
It's got to be a hard, direct boom.
Sometimes what a guy needs is for someone to slap him across the face, more metaphorically than literally,
but
maybe sometimes literally, and come at him with something extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
Because, like, as guys, we're not going to be like it's when people are very soft on us, it allows us to be to not put in the effort.
Yeah.
And we work best when we're challenged.
Yeah.
That is when men are at their best. Is when we get challenged. That is when we perform the best. That is when we are. That is when we improve the most. Is when we get challenged. When you provide an environment that's just too easy, too soft, then it just allows for relaxation and laziness.
Yeah.
And so having even showing that, where it's like, you know, you've got Sean the therapist, who's there to try to help him open up and be like, you know, try to get him to trust other people more. Yeah. And then you have Ben Affleck over here basically slapping him in the face and being like, don't you dare
do that.
Not
take your chance.
Don't you dare like even like just stay doing this.
Yeah.
You have something that any of us would kill for.
Right.
Don't let it go to waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I will kill you if you let it go to waste. Like he's like, yeah. And it's like you need a friend like that, you know? You need a friend who will not allow you to not do the best you can.
Right.
And if you can go far and you have a friend that recognizes that and that friend will push you to get there, that is a good friend.
Yep. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely recommend watching that movie at some point in your life.
It is, yeah. It's a personable story. It's a, yeah. I didn't think at first that Will Hunting was going to be like that much. I thought he was like, I was like, oh yeah, he's the cool, charismatic, you know, smart guy. And then later on, you kind of start to realize, oh,
he has issues.
You start to see his flaws, and you start to see the barriers he puts up.
Yeah,
and it's
relatable. It's a really solid movie.
Solid movie. Good watch.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd probably put it about an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I'd probably put it. Yeah, I'd do an 8.5 if I could.
8.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, just for people watching, I do want to go ahead and let you know, 8 out of 10 is by no means bad. I think some people have
if it's not a 10, it's not great.
Or like if it's not like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, it's not that great or whatever. Yeah. I think people's opinions are are skewed, and like, so the way I rank movies are like 10 out of 10s are like my absolute top favorite movies, like. And they're not always like, when I put them as 10 out of 10, it doesn't mean that they actually are the best 10 out of 10 movies, because there are many movies that are probably actually technically better, but they just happen to be my favorites.
Right.
And so like they get put at 10 out of 10 for me, and I'm like, they may not deserve to be a 10 out of 10, but I just really love those movies. 9 out of 10 are like, these are like they're not quite that 10 out of 10 for me. I have a hard time putting a movie at 10 out of 10.
Yep.
But like a 9 out of 10 is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So for some examples, Lord of the Rings is 10 out of 10 for me. Okay. John Wick is more of a 9 out of 10.
Right.
8 is, so, and those are like the elite groups. Like it gets hard to put a movie at a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. 8 out of 10 are the movies that I really, really, really like. But they're just not quite enough to be that 9 out of 10s. Yeah. And 7 out of 10 is, I enjoyed this. It was good. Enough said. 6 is going to be more mixed. It's like, oh yeah, it was kind of enjoyable. Yeah. Okay. 5, and then 5 and below, it starts getting into negatives and mixed and negatives. So,
right. Yeah, I'd be right with you.
That's kind of the way I do that. If you guys enjoyed this video, I hope you guys go ahead and put a like down below. Helps us recognize the fact that a lot of you guys do in fact want to see more of these. Yes. We do these about once every 2 weeks for Caesar's Movie Thoughts. Yes, and on the other weeks, I have a series remembering the MCU. And I also do other videos here and there on occasion.
That's cool.
So so if you guys want to see more of these things, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
We'll see you.